Well, it's not June 1st, but it sure as hell is close enough. What is going on, Mr. Ethan Moriarty?
Uh, I don't know. A bit, I got quite a bit, I guess. I don't know. It's going.
You been out storm chasing at all?
Not really, not recently. I'm in the home front right now. I've got a couple things that I've had to attend to. Getting physical therapy for my jaw and all sorts of interesting things going on. So, yeah.
Oh, no, man.
Yeah, you want to hear
I,
something? Listen to this.
yeah.
If
Oh,
you can hear that over
damn.
the mic.
Yeah, I can hear the clicking. So this is almost
Yeah.
like a Michael Jordan flu game for you, man. You're playing through the
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah, pretty it's on it like honestly the pain is not too bad in the jaw itself, but the snapping is so loud in the joint that it like hurts my eardrum. So it's like that's what's more annoying honestly at this point, but yeah,
Yeah.
battling TMJ, I don't know, kind of random, but and yeah.
Isn't that caused by like rusty nails or something?
No, like lockjaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like it's not like the traditional lockjaw. I think honestly, I have a bad habit of teeth clenching, and then I think that probably has something to do with it. What
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I try not
I,
to, so but that's why I'm trying to get it sorted out and trying to avoid any sort of surgical option. But there's a bunch of things that they can do ahead of that, so
I
that's what
see
you gotta do.
weaponized anxiety says it's not tetanus, Gabe. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
But
tetanus. Yeah, yeah, it's a
uh,
TMJ. Basically, what happens is the cartilage in between the jaw, it's like basically the cartilage is like slipping out or something, the way I understand it. So it's like going in and out. I don't know. So it does that if I open my mouth too wide.
Okay, radar shark. One sec.
Oh, that sounds bad. That sounds good. Or better than.
Yeah. For some reason, my headset was acting a little weird, so give me just 1 second here. Yeah, for some
June
reason, it
1st.
was using it was using the microphone in my actual headphones, and this is like a crappy pair I picked up just
Hmm.
with my MacBook for video editing and stuff. So the microphone is less than ideal. Good call, radar shark.
Gotcha.
Thanks for the heads up. I'm no longer going to be deaf. Yeah, apologies about that. I usually check that beforehand, but yeah, very sorry about that, guys. So appreciate you being here then, Ethan. Playing through the I won't say pain, but playing through the clicking. Probably gonna
Yeah,
be a lot quicker than you're used to.
talking isn't too bad, but like if eating can be sometimes a pain because it starts clicking it obsessively and it's annoying. It's like I mean honestly like all things considered if that's the extent of my issues, I'm doing pretty dang well. That's kind of where I'm looking at it, trying to glass half full type of mentality when it comes to it.
Well, there goes my idea for us to actually turn this into an impromptu mukbang tonight on the stream. So guess that's not happening.
Uh,
Happy World
yeah, I
Cycling
don't
Day.
like cyclical
No.
supercell cycling. I can get
No,
behind that.
that'd be good. Dude, everything gets a freaking day from now on. I understand it's a line in the sand. Okay, I get it that there's no like clear mark of delineation, but I'm gonna stop it at Mother's and Father's Day. Anything beyond that is an excessive day meant to just pilfer money out of your pockets somehow or get us to all pay attention to dumb shit. I apologize, Spencer, if you're a big cycling fan. I just completely destroyed your day, but it had to be said. Okay. Every day is a treat for me, says weaponized anxiety. I know, Jen. You bring the golden retriever energy to the moderator team here at Storm Chaser Coaching, so always appreciative of you. And of course, Radar Shark brings the dinosaur pictures. I think he's like 13 or 14 years old, so it tracks that he's obsessed with dinosaurs. That's pretty sure. All right, guys. You know the drill. This is office hours. That means you can ask Ethan any and all questions. Just don't ask him to eat, please. That would be cruel. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat. Just go ahead and click that little hashtag office hours questions. Get your questions in over there. And Nomadland says 13-year-old. Listen, he's wiser than his years, and he's doing a great job keeping all of you monkeys in line. So we appreciate the work that Radar Shark is doing. All right, moving over to group coaching questions. We have exactly 0 questions at this point. So, oh, sorry, it was office hours questions. Yeah, if I said group coaching, I apologize. Office hours questions, none over here. Greeny says BRIH. I don't even know what that means. I deleted my question. Good job, Greeny. We got Rick, bruh. Okay, bruh. I
think
deleted
that's
my
supposed to be
question.
bruh.
Yep.
L.
So what else you got going on, real quick? While we wait for some questions. I see some people are typing over there. What else do you have going on in terms of engineering, content? Doesn't even necessarily have to be storm chasing related. Just what's going on in the world of Ethan Moriarty.
Yeah. So, the big project that I worked on recently was the Joplin documentary for the 15-year anniversary. So I dropped that. Working on another documentary that'll be out tentatively it'll be out next month. Not a tornado event, different type of event, but an event worth exploring, just because I think what I'm doing like much more longer form, kind of really deep into the analysis type thing, kind of deconstructing why events became disasters. So that's the next project that's kind of front of mind, at least from the June 1st perspective. And in talks with a couple entities right now, potentially doing something more professional as well, like more with a little bit more credential behind than just YouTube. But that's been a really drawn out process, and that's like been 3 months in the making. So still figuring that out.
I'm going to take a completely uneducated, wild guess. Does it have anything to do with the Weather Channel?
No.
Okay. You wouldn't tell me if it did. So
yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not going to divulge who it is because it's not. Nothing's concrete, nothing signed, and it's been a very back and forth thus far.
Okay. Well, we definitely look forward to hearing about the next chapter in the June 1st epic.
I'm also like, some behind baseball is also or behind the scenes baseball or inside baseball, whatever the term is. I might start trying to leverage something else in order to make them pick up their feet if they want to get serious. So
I thought it would be inside hockey for you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, Ethan is a pretty good hockey player. Goalie, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Still skate when I can. Beer leaguer now. But yeah, I was decent enough back in the day.
Yeah, it's like
my elite prospects page is somewhere, I think, or maybe it's deleted by now. I don't know. I don't know how long that gets kicking around.
5 bonus points to anybody who can pull that up and paste it in the chat during the stream. Find Ethan Moriarty's elite prospects page.
Yeah.
All right, we got some good questions here, so we should be good to launch now. Greeny Boy WX asks, do you think there will be a lot of mid-Atlantic slop this year? Of course, he's from the same general region, the New England area. I don't know if New Jersey technically counts as New England area, but we're going to call it
it's not anyways. New England. It's it's like I go like kind of northeast. Like I use the term northeast to kind of describe like Pennsylvania on up, but then like I've seen New Jersey included in that mid-Atlantic, but usually I don't start with mid-Atlantic until the Mason-Dixon line. Right? Is that the right line? Whatever whatever Maryland and below is. That's kind of where I start thinking mid-Atlantic. So that's semantics at that point, I guess. But interestingly, I like long-term forecasting is a big thing that, obviously like a lot of people like to talk about and stuff like that. I'm not the most, I don't put much stock in long-term forecasts. And I mean, yes, you can look at like the general like ENSO pattern and stuff like that. But quite frankly, I'm a big fan of, I think from my understanding, years where the planes, this is kind of just like a hunch thing that I've noticed. Typically, years where the planes are more quiet, I've noticed that there's more Northeast events for whatever reason. I have nothing other than a gut vibe check on that one, but yeah. So hopefully we'll get some good, summer events and stuff like that. Especially when that kind of like once the jet stream retreats further north and we can get kind of some of those troughs to eject and get some of those Canadian surface lows to traverse Ontario and Quebec, then usually those are what kind of drives our big picture systems for up this way in the United States, at least.
We already have something in the chat if you haven't taken a look.
Oh, I haven't.
Summer
Oh,
goalie skating, Ethan Moriarty.
Oh, that's just like a me skating. That was I was still in college when I posted that. I was still playing for the club team at Quinnipiac.
That is freaking awesome, man. We need to get like a highlight reel of you skating that we can use.
Yeah, there's
to
a couple
intro your
videos
office
on
hours
my
in a good-
personal channel of just me skating. I don't think there's any like game footage or anything. I think those are all privatized.
Freaking awesome. All right, next question is, okay, so now we're going a little bit, closer range. PezX, I always say that wrong. PezXWX. How active do you think June will be for the planes?
I mean, early signals look pretty good right now. I mean, I haven't been super dialed in with like the day to day, but obviously, as any weather aficionado would, diving into just kind of checking with the, just GFS ensemble every morning or so. And yeah, it looks like, just the general overall pattern, it looks like we're going to get like kind of that northern plains trough ejection in the next several days. So early signs for June looks pretty good. Breaking that omega block that we've had for, the majority of May.
Yeah, man, that was the freaking Omega block that never ended. It's like it was
Yeah,
never
very
gonna.
2018. Like, yeah, very much reminded me a lot of 2018, which is, crazy to say that that's 8 years ago now at this point. And it's funny because I feel like even in that span since 2018, like that's when I started. Like I'd always, everyone pretty much here knows my story, but I definitely started getting involved in weather Twitter more in I think that 2018 timeframe, 2017, 2018. That's when I started really kind of getting more active in that area. And I just remember that May being like everyone was ripping on that, and then 2019 was awesome, and then 2020 was doldrums again, and so yeah, very very reminiscent of 2018. And I mean, I would guess now that storm chasing's probably doubled in size since that point, quite honestly, if I had to guess. So this is like the first season since the post-COVID wave that where people have really, I would say, kind of had a lackluster May.
Yeah, it almost reminds me in a certain sense of people who were into Bitcoin and crypto. If they came in during a bull run, they probably had like 2 or 3 years of just completely unrealistic expectations where it was always going to
Right.
be beautiful and the sun was going to be shining. And then the first time they get hit with that massive downswing, or in this case, an entire storm chasing season that is extremely unproductive, you wonder how many people fall by the wayside because it's not everything that they thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Unrelated, but I keep seeing the chicken wing tray emoji. I haven't seen this before. I but like I don't know. I just like the I don't know. It's
Dude, our mods
go
basically go
nuts with the
rogue.
tray. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't
Just
even know
like
where that
it's
one
just the
came from.
contrasting of like all of these tray memes, and like knowing him outside of the context of Discord, and like then the Discord context. It's just like as like polar opposites. It's just really funny. The
So
yin and
take a look at
yang.
that one right there, the custom command for WoW that I created.
Oh, well.
I tried to use that as a thumbnail on YouTube and he vetoed it. He wouldn't let me use it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, wide tray's a classic. I didn't mean to start a spam in chat of Trey, but
No,
it
that's
just
exactly why it's
caught my
funny though, right?
attention.
If it was somebody like me, because I'm already a giant goofball anyways, it wouldn't have nearly the same effect. It would be like, oh, that's just
Yeah.
Gabe being Gabe, haha, whatever. it's because Trey is just so straight laced and by the book, and
Yeah.
the fact that you would never expect. That's what makes it so funny. So it's
Yeah,
perfect.
for sure. Love that.
Nomadland asks, "What are your thoughts on today?" And before I toss that over to you, Ethan, I'll say I did record the Storm Chasing Forecast show today by myself. It was the first solo one I've done. Seemed like a pretty straightforward setup. And so I would be interested because I haven't checked anything. I wanted to see, number one, what the 850 millibar winds were going to look like over that very small target area to provide a
Yep.
little extra low level curvature. And then I'm wondering, did we ever get an outflow boundary to set up in that
It
area as
looked like
well
there
for
were
any sort
two
of focus
diffuse
GI?
ones when I took a peek earlier. Like I looked very superficially this afternoon. Um, what radars? Oh, I just wanted to see if any of those towers. I knew there were a couple towers that had established by now, but I'm just trying to find the radar site that I right now. SD.
Yeah, I should probably pop open the Weatherfront browser app and take a look at the radar right now. By the way,
Mm,
guys and ladies, there is a Weatherfront specific show tomorrow night here. I believe it's same time, 7 p.m., might be 8 p.m. Check the events calendar to see exactly what time it is. But John Bangoff, one of the two founders of Weatherfront, who's also a coach here at Storm Chaser Coaching, he is going to be going through the new desktop browser app and showing you all the cool stuff that it can do. I've been highlighting some of it in the semi-regular forecast shows that we've been doing for anytime there's like a slight risk and a 2% tornado probability or higher, but he is really going to dive into all of the cool features that you can use. And I think he's doing it with Phil tomorrow night, so it's going to be a really good show. You'll definitely want to hang out for that one.
GIS. Everything's
Yeah,
kind of
looks like there is some discrete storms going on out there.
yeah. It's like I wanted a better radar look at that the one kind of south of I-90 there.
I'm not
But
even looking right now. Ethan, are you sharing your screen at the moment?
no, I'm not. I'm because I'm not.
Okay.
I don't have the full browser weatherfront thing established. I'm still using GR
Oh,
Analyst.
okay. Gotcha, gotcha.
I'm a trader, but
So
because I haven't like had the time to like sit down and like actually go through like and actually like because I played around with it the other day. I just haven't like had like the hours of or like have actually like sat down for an hour and like actually like really manifested how to navigate it cleanly.
yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
want to like before otherwise it's just gonna be me mashing buttons and nobody wants to see that. Anyway.
No, I totally
But
get
yeah,
that.
today, yeah, I mean, the parameter spaces, I mean, with storms ongoing, I mean, it'll be a fun chase. I can't go wrong with South Dakota. The only thing is that I would say, from a geographical perspective, depending how long that supercell that's kind of along the I-90 corridor there, the Missouri River is a big choke point, and the only way to get back across is I-90 through Chamberlain. So, which like dips into a huge valley and then come out if you've never had the pleasure of traversing South Dakota on I-90. But on the east side of that, beautiful, awesome, or decent road network out that way. Where that supercell is right now, less so, because that's part of the Blackfeet Reservation. One of the reservations. So
I'll share something here real quick with people. I know that you guys aren't here to see me, so apologies for. Let's see.
did I
Discord
say
does not
Missouri?
have
I thought I
permission.
said Missouri. Did I say Missouri River?
Yeah, I don't know if you said. I think you
Oh,
said
I said, isn't
Mississippi.
the Missouri River up in South? I don't know. That's why. I think
Yeah,
that's
well.
now I'm bugging about my geography.
Oh no. Okay. Well, it says in order to actually get Discord to, because I've never had to share my screen because it's usually the
Oh,
coaches, so it's telling me I can't share my screen unless I restart Discord, which I'm not going to do since that would turn off the stream. We got Brendan here in the chat. Look at this guy, Brendan Me, all the
Mr.
way over
Wyoming.
from the wastelands of Twitter, coming over to hang out with us. What's up, brother? For those of you young folks who might not know Brendan, he is by far and away my favorite Twitter follow. Just absolute gold in everything that he tweets. So put some respect on the name and give him a follow.
Yeah, I'm always a Brendan advocate. I think you're muted, Gabe.
Yes, I am. My profile photo, my header photo on Twitter is actually of him. And then my friend Daniela, who's an NWS forecaster, she drew herself as a stick figure
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
vehicle behind him. So,
I
yeah.
remember the stick figure phase. The minivan.
Yep,
Legendary.
absolutely.
You know what's funny? They have like in all those storm chasing games, they have the TIV, they have, all these different, tornado intercepting vehicles that people want to play as. I want to play as, either Brendan or Skip Talbot's minivan. That's my dream chase vehicle.
I'd have to go with Lolcar. Rest in
Oh
peace.
yeah. Rest in peace, low car. That was so
Yeah.
sad. That was like, you don't usually see like the actual car getting crushed after the fact. But the fact he had the images of it was wild.
You know what though? I thought about it a little bit, and thankfully J Jack is unharmed, and so he's not beat
Yeah.
up or anything like that, not injured. There wasn't going to be a better way to send that vehicle off, right? You don't want to see it just like a car that legendary. You don't want to see it just go quietly off into that good night where it just sort of
Yeah.
limps to the finish line and gets forgotten. Like it died the way it lived, just to the
Yeah.
extreme, breakneck, man, right up in the grill. I think it's fitting.
Yeah. No kidding.
All right. That was a deviation.
Yeah.
Brendan just
Sorry to
says hi
derail.
in the office hours questions. Hey there, Brendan. Okay, Nomadland, I hope that probably didn't answer your question because we got diverted into talking about a bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with today's setup. But Drew Chases asks, what do you think this summer is going to look like for the Mid-Atlantic with 2023 being an analog? I'm referencing 8/7/23 here. So getting super specific with it if you happen to remember that date.
8/7/23. I chased that day. I'm 90% sure I did because that date sounds familiar. Or maybe I'm thinking of 8/20. What was it? 8/7 or 8/27? Sorry, I already forgot.
That would be 8/7/23.
Okay. Let me go through my archive. June 1st, Storm Chasing Files, 2023. Oh, I didn't chase that day. What am I thinking of? I think I might be thinking of 8/27/2020, which was a Northeast. That was the day I definitely chased. But 8/7/2023. SPC archive 2023 og 7 retrieve events moderate. Oh. Wait, I don't remember this day. Interesting. So what was the specific question again when it comes to this specific event? Like if we would get something like this?
So they want to know what summer is going to look like this year, and they're
Oh,
wondering
geez.
whether or not that date being an analog is something that we could end up seeing.
Well, that's tough. I mean, specific days are really tough. I mean, just because, I mean, you can talk about like general vibes. I mean, with 2023 as an analog, sure. I mean, 2023 was a fairly decent year for the Northeast / Mid Atlantic, as if I remember correctly, for severe weather events. Maybe not quite as good as 2018 or 2020. Those were very good Northeast and Mid Atlantic years. I just kind of want to see what. Or wait, it was August, right? August. This is the Mesoanalysis archive page for anyone wondering. I just kind of wanted to see what the general pattern for that day was. Actually, we'll go the 8th, 0Z, past 48 hours, and we'll just go 500 millibar just to get an idea of the pattern that day. Okay, so it's just a trough that basically originated kind of mid-plains. I mean, I could go back. Pretty negative tilt, cool. Go back. I mean, that very well could be an analog for I mean, it's like I said, it's tough with very specific days in terms of like being able to draw direct comparisons. But I mean, as I was mentioning earlier, you might not have been here. If for the that person that asked the question, usually just kind of a general vibe thing that I've had is, um, if the plains are more quiet, then I've noticed that often the Northeast wakes up a little bit. And we've had a couple of really low years, I would say, in the Northeast. So with 2023 probably being the last like real decent one. So yeah, hopefully that's halfway decently answers your question.
Pacer Academy member Jeffrey C. We're skipping down the list a little bit since we do have some questions from Academy members. Did you get a chance to schmooze and wine and dine Tim Marshall at the Chaser Summit earlier this year?
Me, no, I haven't. I wasn't at the Chaser Summit this year, unfortunately. Um, Debating on going this upcoming year. I'd like I there's reasons why I'm trying to be very political here, or very diplomatic here, I should say. Um,
Burn the
there's
bridges.
reason, yeah. I nothing, yeah. I'm not. There's no bridges for me to burn, really. But I mean, I do. I'll put it this way: completely outside of the Chaser Summit sphere. Um, I've gotten to know Tim Marshall a little bit outside of that, and we've had correspondence here and there, and he's a fan of, he does endorse June 1st's damage analysis stuff, even though it might cause him some headaches sometimes with people coming back at him with trying to use that as reasons. But he has, he's a fan of what I've done, and we're on good terms. So I like Tim Marshall. He's one of my heroes growing up, and all is well on that front. So yeah.
To that point you made about him maybe sometimes having a headache or two caused by your YouTube videos, I think one of the
Ugh.
measures of a man is iron sharpens iron and whether they can appreciate that. Obviously, if it's
Yeah.
just some idiot YouTube channel that's spouting stuff off with absolutely no foundation behind it, that's one thing. But measured, extremely thoughtful analysis that maybe challenges some of the conventional norms. I think that if anybody is, worth their weight in terms of being called an expert, they're always going to be taking that in and thoughtfully considering it, and,
Yeah.
and being appreciative of people who are adding to that particular field.
Tim Marshall's awesome. If you ever get the opportunity to meet him, he's always generous with his time, and I think honestly this might be one of his, from my understanding, this upcoming Chaser Summit might be the last time he's like part of it. I know he's like definitely, leaning heavily more into retirement down the line. So, if you ever have the opportunity to meet Tim Marshall, you don't be afraid to go up to him. He's, very, very generous with his time and all that. So
We've got Rick Nitz asking, "Hey Ethan, I really enjoyed your engineering video where you calculated the forces to lift the SUV into the water tower. Would like to
mm,
see more things like that with a focus on the human in the path. Why lay down in a ditch? Forces versus standing, forces versus an underpass, forces to rip up a home versus ripping open a home." Um, and it kind of goes on from there. But he wants to know first, so kind of two questions in one. So, first of all, what do you think about that? Do you plan on doing any more videos covering those or similar topics in the future?
yeah. So with damage analysis, like, I have no immediate plans to do another damage analysis in the immediate future. And I'm also like, I'm the way I would say, if there is like, I did one a couple months ago, I think in February, on the Diaz tornado. Um, and I definitely went a lot more general, and I'm starting to pull back a lot more on putting specific numbers to things, just because of the fact I've really gotten annoyed with how, I mean, granted, a lot of these are like just like petty children arguments and stuff like that, and I really should be ignoring it more. But just like I hate the weaponization of what I've done. Just like, I'm very forward in the video about being like, these are just approximations. There's a lot of assumptions and all this stuff going on. And then I just like, it kind of ends up dragging me through the mud after the fact, where people kind of twist my words to bolster their own arguments, and then they attach my name to it after the fact. So it just kind of paints like what I do in a light that I don't want it painted in, and it's kind of frustrating. And so that's why I'm kind of, and some of my earlier damage analyses videos, some of them I'm honestly heavily contemplating as of late privatizing them, because I would do them much differently now, with how liberal I was with some of the assumptions that I made. So when it comes to the specific case though of like why being in like a ditch, lying down versus standing up versus underpass, that type of stuff, that stuff I would definitely like, being more generalized, that stuff I would definitely be much more open to. Because like things like lying down in a ditch, like taking advantage of like boundary layer friction and all that is like definitely a huge reason why that is much safer than like being in a vehicle being impacted by a tornado, for example. So that aspect of it, I would definitely be much more open to. But I'm definitely kind of pivoting, at least maybe a lot more journalistically, or going like in a more journalistic direction just with the June 1st stuff, just because I really like making the long form documentaries and stuff like that. But I'm not ruling out anything ever, really.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it must suck after pouring God knows how many hours, 50, 100, 200 hours into making a video, and thinking that you've been very careful about the way you've worded things and treated all sides fairly. And then there's some idiot on Twitter who basically says, Ethan Moriarty thinks the NWS is an idiot. And you're
Yeah.
just like, that's wonderful. That's exactly what I think,
Yeah,
obviously.
it removes all the nuance, which I mean, like you kind of have to expect at the end of the day, it being the internet. People are gonna grab screen grabs or whatever and kind of just post things to bolster their own arguments, especially when people get very territorial on places like Twitter, or I don't even step into Reddit anymore. Just completely
Oh
avoid
God.
that. That would, if I really want to raise my cortisol, that will do it. So yeah, I can leave it at that for now.
Cool, cool. All right. Then the next half of Rick Nitz's question is, um, can Ethan name the goalies with me in my profile picture?
Oh,
So
I have to like
if you
actually
could
pull up
find,
the photo.
I don't know if
I
you can
can
even make it
I
bigger.
see a very small. It's very small, but to the to his right, the left of the photo, that looks like Cujo, Curtis Joseph. And I can't really quite see.
Looks like a very
That's the one that's
robust
like the most
ginger in the middle.
distinctive. The most distinctive was I can see Curtis Joseph. I can't quite make out, just because I can't like fully blow it up. It's like this big on my screen.
Hey, Rick, if you post that picture in the chat, we'll go ahead and take another look at it when we can actually get a bigger version of it. Let's see.
I'm
And
like
then the last thing Rick
95%
wanted to
sure the
say,
left one's Curtis Joseph.
was I was an e-bug. I'm not sure what that means, for the Orlando Solar Bears while they
Oh,
were
that's
under
awesome.
Toronto. Highlight of my career was an invitation to try out for Florida. I sported a nice bruise from a John Madden slap shot for a few weeks.
Oh, is that when was that 2014 stint when both those goalies were down, the Panthers just brought like a bunch of people in? I feel like I remember that when I was like, I mean, I was pretty young when that what was I, 15, 16? So, that's awesome though. Yeah, I love a little, I can, always go on goalie talk, or I can talk shop goalies all the time.
We'll have to remember that for future office hours if we want to use
Yeah.
that as a selling point. Come in and talk hockey with Ethan.
Yeah. Great game, great first game of the Stanley Cup Finals last night. I'll say that. Very electric game.
Yeah, so we actually have a question from Jacob Spink, who is one of our server
Yes.
boosters. He says, Ethan, who do you have to win the Stanley Cup? Any players you're excited to see in the finals this year?
I think, all right, so here's what I will say. I'll try to keep it brief because I know people want to talk about weather stuff. But from the hockey perspective, my heart wants Carolina, but rationally, I'm leaning Vegas. I still think the series goes the distance. Carolina's forwards are skilled, but they don't have a Jack Eichel or a Mitch Marner. I think they or Mark Stone, and I think those really help that case for Vegas. And they have, their majority of their roster has been there, done that because they won the Cup in 2023. Where this is, Carolina with this core just getting over the hump finally from the conference perspective. So for that reason, passionately Vegas, but I want Carolina to win. The goalies, I would say, that's kind of a draw. Defense, I would give towards Carolina, but yeah.
All right, expert analysis right there. Okay, and Rick followed up and said Curtis Joseph and Alan Bester, both of Toronto.
Alan Bester, interesting. Okay, that's a name that I haven't heard in like a long time. But yeah, Cujo's a legend in Toronto, that's for sure.
All right, JG Wentworth asks, "Hey Ethan, couple of questions here. What is your opinion on the SPC's recent poor performance?" I like how just after we got talking about like mashing the NWS, and now he's like, "By the way, Ethan, I'd like to hear you comment
Yeah.
on the SPC's poor performance." Just so let's go ahead and just generalize this question. What do you think about tornado-driven moderates? Maybe why some of them have underperformed relative to expectation
Mhm.
recently.
Yeah, I think with some of those like moderate, those like higher end risks, there's like there's so much like synoptically, there's so much going on in my like and like the reason why sometimes they don't go high, they'll reserve the high risk is like obviously there's always like a couple flies in the ointment. And I think, obviously cam performance has not been good in recent um months and maybe past year even. Cams have been kind of lackluster. Um, obviously with recently, there's been a lot of questions of how much the lack of balloon launches have been, contributing to just like, I think literally in the SPC discussion today, they were like, there was like uncertainty in terms of like how deep the, uh, I believe they were talking about the EML, but they were like, "Hey, we would like," or like they commented on it and basically were like, "But we can't like confirm this because there have been no balloon launches in the entire central United States." Um, I know think my screen's still running here, but I just wanted to, if we go to like the soundings, NWS, SPC, observe soundings, yeah. Like, look at like this is the 12Z launch map, and it's like we're missing the entire Great Basin and the Northern Plains when there's literally a severe risk. Yet we have the whole East Coast. So, um, yeah, not very good, especially if we have like what's it called? A risk over South Dakota, and we can't even verify like at like yeah, you can kind of get some stuff from airplanes here and there, but like you're not getting the complete vertical sample. So it's like, all right, can't run a good model. Garbage in equals garbage out. So I think a lot of those types of reasons have to play into it, and then also too just kind of a lot of bad breaks in terms of kind of like if things go off, a lot of boom and bust type scenarios. I would say that we've noticed this year and even going into the back half of last year.
I know someone in the chat right now that could help out with that giant weather balloon hole we have on that map. I say we all pitch in and we crowd fund Brendan to send some balloons up out there in Wyoming.
Yeah. Just send them a bunch of hydrogen tanks or whatnot. Actually, I don't know if storing a bunch of hydrogen would be a great idea if we're gonna take any lesson from Hindenburg, but
Oh God, yeah, immediately in chat, just the word Hindenburg.
yeah.
So you were on the right track. That's
That's the thing. It's like, all right, either we use helium, which is like we're rapidly losing, and then or hydrogen. And hydrogen we can definitely get a lot more of. Um, whereas helium, we should probably be reserving it for like the lasers and stuff that we need it for. So
yeah, it's actually sneakily one of the biggest industrial bottlenecks that we have in the modern era is helium, and you wouldn't think that because it's not talked about very often, but it's a huge issue.
Yeah, because you can't make it. Like you can't man. It's not man-made. You can't make it. I think it's only, it's only gets produced because of radioactive decay, from my understanding, my limited knowledge. But um, yeah, losing all the helium's not good.
Maybe we'll be able to get some of those space mining probes to go up and find us a bunch of helium on some asteroid.
Yeah, and that's the
That's
thing.
like best case
Once you
scenario.
crack into like a helium reservoir, and it just leaves the like it's like you gotta start collecting it, otherwise it just leaves the atmosphere. So
Can you
lame.
imagine working near a helium reservoir? What it must sound like talking to people all day long?
uh, well, I mean, if
Wouldn't be
people
able
are
to wouldn't be able
inhaling
to
just
take my
straight
boss serious.
helium all the time, they'd die. So
Well, I wouldn't be able to take my boss seriously if he sounded like that. I'm
yeah, I
just
know.
saying.
It's like
All
the
right.
yeah.
No, what were we gonna say, Ethan? It's like the
No, it's just I don't know. I'm just yeah. I'm trying not
okay,
to
so
derail
second
any
second
further.
second question from JG Wentworth. What do you think of the recent messes of chaser convergence and lack of safety,
Mm.
respect, and etiquette, most notably on May 18th? So apparently that
All
was a
right.
pretty big day for chaser convergence.
Yeah. So here's the thing with chaser convergence. Uh, I think like I made a video that's actually like it keeps re-blowing up. I made it I think during the fall, and I put a very bombastic title on it. I think I said El like basically I think it's like El Reno will happen again or something like that. The El Reno tornado will happen again. And basically the whole lesson was about like the chaser tragedy kind of scenario unfolding. And basically what I bring up is storm chasing has exploded in popularity even within the past 5 years. That's unquestionable. Just because from a social media aspect alone, I think has massively blown up the hobby. And I mean this goes for hobbies across the board, or any sort of activity. They're all experiencing this, so it's not unique to chasing. If you look at some of the pictures from the Everest season opening up, just how many people are like trying to summit Everest right now is like ridiculous. Just like conga lines going up the mountain. It's like it's actually like looks like a conga line. But ultimately, what it comes down to is naturally there's going to be traffic, and people like to like. I mean, yes, there are people that are there's people putting a lot of blame on like people that don't know how to drive in storms, like they're driving too slow. There's like there's something called just like chaos theory within traffic. There's a term for it that it's escaping my mind. But if the moment you put a lot of cars on a road, everyone's reaction time is different. And so naturally you get these phantom traffic jams where like they kind of snake their way down the highway with time. So you're naturally going to have that. You have people that are driving that are definitely driving distracted and all that, which is, obviously a huge problem. And, people going for obvious targets on the obvious days, especially on days where there's like singular targets and there's not necessarily a feasible or realistic secondary target that could compete with the primary target. So it's a combination of all those things. As for what it means moving forward, I don't really know. I think, quite honestly, to be quite blunt, I think with a matter of time, with a right storm setup, there could realistically be another instance of multiple chasers getting hit um, by a very large deviant tornado. Um, I thought, it's like the old line from "It Could Happen Tomorrow," that old Weather Channel show. It's not a matter of if, but when. And I think, quite honestly, what it comes down to is taking personal responsibility. And a lot of people are solo chasing. Carpooling where possible, I think, is huge, which is something that I've definitely have done. Um, and what was the other thing I was going to say? And there's also, I would say, chasing strategy, because I find that the convergence side of it is really from like, I would say, like a mile out from the mesocyclone to 3 miles out. Like there's like this like buffer zone where there's like everyone's like kind of like in this mid zone where there's a lot of convergence. and then there's like no one around when you're directly under it, which is obviously really risky. And you have to really know what you're doing in that. Or if you're like playing it really far out and you're being like, structure hipster mode. So yeah, it's just kind of maybe either going for secondary targets or kind of adapting your style to, or picking days that are, maybe not a slam dunk. So
I think Thanos has already given us the solution for when things get a little overcrowded. So I'd be fine with a complete dispassionate culling of half of the storm chasers, just completely random, everybody out on the road, just gone like that, and then we
yeah,
continue
well,
on with our.
with my luck, that would be, I'd be Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good.
I was gonna say you do kind of have a Tom Holland look about you. So.
Oh, jeez. Maybe that's a good thing,
All right.
actually. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that find that man handsome. I presume so.
Yeah, yeah, no, I've told you before that, and we've talked about this before. You have the clavicular going on, man. Like
Yeah.
you're definitely every one of these shows. When I go back and look at them when I'm doing editing and whatnot, distributing them to the various
Yeah,
platforms,
mogging.
oh, I'm getting frame mogged hard by you on every single one of these shows.
Yeah. I'm not sure
It's
if I have
rough.
quite the frame to frame mog, but I'm quite lanky.
Face mogging. We'll go with face mogging.
Yeah.
I get face mogged for sure. All right. Let's see. Okay, Severe WX. Have you ever thought about doing scientific research on tornadoes, like building your own sensors and getting into the data of what drives them?
It's funny you should mention that because I did do that that was what June 1st originally was, dating back to like college. We were like the precursor to Otis, if you will, where we were using fixed wing UAVs, and we weren't really flying into tornadoes. That was kind of deemed irresponsible by the by my advisors at the time. But we were targeting more just at the time there was still not a lot of understanding of the streamwise vorticity current, so that was the whole idea. Basically, radio sonding the streamwise vorticity current, big picture. So yeah, I did that for a period of time, and then lost, graduated, didn't have grant access anymore, so I would had to fund it out of my own pocket. And as a kid that had, $100,000 in student loans, that took precedent. So
Yeah, when you're trying to live life responsibly, chasing sometimes has to be put on the back burner as well as all chasing related endeavors. So it's a tough
that's
fact
where
of
I'm at
life.
right now. Yeah, I'm not ignorant to the benefits of compound interest. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I mean, there's a lot of people that, uh, that and I know Gabe, you've mentioned it before in terms of like kind of being, going after things fiscally responsible. But I think there's
Yeah.
a bit of an epidemic of people putting the cart way before the horse. And, I mean, obviously you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelet, but, if you're already at a disadvantageous position, as much as it sucks to, it's a thing that nobody wants to hear, but, you ideally should be sorting yourself out in that perspective beforehand before really tackling chasing, um, on a broader level, I guess, or a more consistent level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's no worse feeling than spending your last like 250 bucks getting fuel and buying food and getting a hotel, calling off work so you lose even more money, and then driving home. I call it the drive of shame, driving home like 7 hours
Oh,
because it was a blue sky bust and now you have $15 in your bank account and you don't get paid
yeah,
for like 10 more days. And yeah, like just don't put yourself in that position. As a person who's been there before, most of us veterans have been there before. It's not worth it. Just
no,
get your shit together and you'll feel so much better. You'll sleep much easier. You may not be able to chase, 40, 50, 60 days in a year, but that, 10, 15, 20 days that you do get to go out, it'll just be so much more enjoyable when you don't have all those other worries on your mind.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely like, and it's like, I mean, And like as I said, for those that are younger, compound interest is your friend. And because I know like the classic or the high school meme of like, oh, I learned how to, that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but I don't know how to balance a checkbook type thing or whatever. Uh, there's a life lesson for you that, I mean, in theory, you should be learning that compound interest is good in math class. Actually, now that I think about it, I definitely learned about it in some capacity, but I went to a fairly decent high school, so maybe that's not universal across the board, but
All right, it looks like those are all the Chaser Academy member questions. Just a reminder, real quick, I haven't pitched it yet, but you guys are all going to hear it now. If you want to get your questions asked with priority status during these office hours, also if you want to actually participate in the group coaching sessions, have access to the Coach Q&A channel, all the other perks that come associated with the Chaser Academy, I'm going to go ahead and drop. I think this is the command. Watch it be the wrong command. Totally the wrong command. Okay. Yeah, that's what a good guy I am. Darn it. Somebody. All right, dude, what did I even change it to? Hold on. This is compelling stuff right here. Okay, let me go to custom commands. Wide wow. Okay, it's join. Join is the command. Somebody go ahead and drop that in the chat there. Apologies to everyone. There we go. Yeah, so if you go ahead and click that link, we do run our membership through our YouTube channel now. It's just a lot easier. We don't have to hassle with a lot of the stuff on the back end. Plus, it's easier to actually deliver all the perks. But it is $9.99 per month, and you get access to all of our coaches in that uh, Coach Q&A channel, as well as the group coaching sessions live. Plus, you get to watch all the replays afterwards, and you get priority status to get your questions answered in the office hours Q&A sessions that we have, like this one right here. So, getting to our regular members now. Alan wants to know about the documentary about Joplin. Where can I see
yes.
it? I'm in the UK. So, what about that one?
Oh, my little Joplin documentary. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Is it region blocked in the UK?
Oh, I don't know. It shouldn't be. I had no last time I checked there was no no restrictions. Yeah, right here. Joplin, the worst case tornado scenario.
So there you go.
Beautiful.
All right, Twister wants to know what happened to the AI video from a while back, Ethan. There were a lot of great points made there.
Oh, yeah, it it like flopped really badly, and at the time I was still negotiating sponsorship rates. Maybe I'll just re-upload it to the second channel. But yeah, in order to stay competitive, like I didn't want that marring the rates that I was negotiating for sponsorship stuff. So I privated it. So maybe I can just put it back up quietly now that it's kind of deeper in the rabbit hole now. But yeah, thanks for reminding me, actually.
Right on. Greeny Boy asks, I'm just curious about how your 2026 season has been locally. I'd say so far I've had a really successful year. It's been quiet overall since April, though.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't been chasing, like, this is honestly the least amount of chasing that I've done since 2017, which stinks to say. But gas is expensive right now, and I'm focusing on other aspects of my personal life from that perspective, kind of um, saving beans where I can, because I'm thinking got long-term goals that I want to hit. So, but I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my store. Yeah, I've only had one, two, three, four, five, six, seven chases, if you will. I had a great day actually last couple weeks ago, and just on the piers in New York here. I can actually pull it up. I think my thing's still running. Oh wait, here we go. Edited. I had a nice little time lapse. When I was trying to get, this is just with a GoPro, nothing special, but just a fun little storm rolling through New York. I was with my main camera. I was trying to get a World Trade Center bolt. Yeah, the GoPro time lapse didn't really pick up many bolts, but there was a bolt that hit one of the other buildings that I missed. It was like over here. It was just out of frame because I had it tight on the World Trade Center. But yeah, that was fun. And then I had a couple good chases in Pennsylvania earlier in the year. I think March 22nd being the better of the two. Got cursed out by a farmer that day. That was fun. Anyway.
Awesome. Radar Shark wants to know, what is it about cold core setups that make them good for tornado production?
Cold core. So the thing with cold core setups is basically like, if you're looking at it big picture, it's the idea of like everything is relative. Like if you just conceptualize everything as relative, because like on paper, if you're looking at things isolated, like like the really cold temperatures and all this, like really cold temperatures aloft and all this different type of stuff, like on paper it doesn't really look like there's much going on, but um like your lapse rates can be really extreme with that cold temperature aloft, and basically your updraft strength, like the way I try to conceptualize very simply speaking, just cape generally speaking versus lapse rates. Like cape is like just the quantity of like instability that you have, whereas the lapse rates is like the quality of the instability that you have. So if you have much steeper lapse rates, basically your updrafts can be like that much more potent. This is very much simplifying things. And cold core setups are really good at doing that. Like they're really good at making the most of what little of other parameters that you have, particularly in the instability department. Just because when you get like these really small updrafts, they can like really rock it up. And basically a tornado at the end of the day, like it's just like a focus point of, vacuum, if you will. So it's that at the end of the day that cold core setups are good at.
Yeah, I like the way you framed it, as it makes you think in relative terms. That was exactly the way I would have framed it as well. It really kind of gets you out of that thinking of, oh, what I would consider to be warm, moist air for myself is what produces tornadoes. Because like you said, you don't necessarily need those high dews and those super high temperatures into like the 70s and 80s in order for you to get tornadoes. You can have something more modest, high 50s, even low 60s, if you have those lapse rates aloft, and then it can really do a number on that limited amount of cape by making it high quality cape. And so I like that it turns setups on their head, and it forces you to think, like you said, relatively about the quality of the cape, not just the quantity and just the actual temperature that you are feeling. Gets you out of that mindset.
Right, for sure.
Okay, Nomadland. Last question here. Actually, we also have Rick Nitz, who posted the larger version of those pictures. So if you want to take a look,
Oh,
man, that is a robust ginger. Love it. Love to see it.
I'll have to
So
scroll back.
excellent. Yeah, it's in the office hours questions channel, not
Oh,
in the
oh, oh.
yeah, not in the
Gotcha.
actual the ship posting chat. And then while you're going to that, I'll ask
Oh,
Nomadland's
yeah.
question. Oh, go ahead. Are you looking at
Oh
it
no,
now, the pictures?
I was just waiting. I was ready for the question.
Okay, perfect. When do you think gasoline will be below $2 a gallon? Where's the cheapest fuel? Ethan, I know you have a line directly into the State Department, so you can actually ask these questions and figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with the war in Iran.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Bring up my good buddies up in, I don't know.
Asking that question is roughly analogous to, Ethan, when do you think the Straits of Hormuz are going to be back to normal?
Yeah, that I don't know. Um yeah, the extent of my knowledge in that department is very, very limited. I'll put it that way. Um but it'll be nice when it goes down, whenever that may
Yeah.
be. But I don't think it'll be this chase season.
Yeah, I was going to say, practically speaking, I think the best way to proceed forward would be Plan as though you're going to be paying 5, maybe even $6 per gallon. And if that ends up not being the case, just be happy that you have some extra money left over. But I certainly would not be planning on gas prices coming down anytime soon.
No.
All right. Well, have a little explosion. I love how you guys wait until the show is over to explode more questions into the chat. Ethan, we'll do a lightning round for these
Yeah,
last
sure.
two right here.
I have nowhere to be, so.
Okay. So Rick Nitz, this isn't a question, but he says, if you chase or intercept in Florida, let me know. I'll buy you dinner.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Awesome. And then Drew chases. I left for a bit, so someone might have already asked this. What causes some days to significantly overperform in one area and significantly underperform in others? I understand it's meso scale stuff, but what parameters specifically? And I'll just say before I pass it to you, Ethan, it's really just tough. Every setup is going to be unique, and
Yeah.
it's really about identifying which failure modes actually played out.
Yeah, it's not very it's not a definitive answer. Everything's going to be a little bit different, unfortunately. That's the beauty of weather, and that's the thing. There's nothing's concrete. Yeah. It's the
I
easiest way
will
to sum
say
it up.
though, Drew chases, especially if you're a newer chaser, even if you've never chased storms before, one of the most helpful pieces of advice I got when I was first starting out is basically decide what you would do if you were chasing today, where you would stage, what would cause you to drive north or drive south, what would you be looking for in the environment that would sort of tilt you in one direction or the other. And then after everything has all the dust is settled and the chase day is over with, go back through and figure out exactly why it overperformed or why it underperformed and figure out those failure modes. And once you start to look at enough examples of that stuff, you'll begin to get pattern recognition when it comes to those sorts of things where you can
Yeah.
actually start to spot them in real time versus after the fact.
Yeah. Pattern like that's a meteorology in a nutshell is pattern recognition. So, and unfortunately there's no easy way to develop that skill without just repeated exposure. It takes time. It's not a pretty answer, but bit by bit you build that muscle.
Brick by brick, just like my Instagram algorithm, which provides me with all sorts of absolutely insane fuel to post in our memes channel. If you guys have ever, you guys have ever ventured to look over there, but that is the show. Ethan, appreciate you joining us here. Everyone in
Yeah,
the
great
chat,
questions
appreciate all your questions. Yeah, it's
and
great
fun
time.
antics as well.
Take care, everyone.
Au revoir.